Everybody, I want to show off a spinnerbait I designed for golden dorado fishing, and they're notorious for breaking, destroying the strongest of lures, hooks, and otherwise. A lot of that has to do with the fact that their teeth are basically like piranha, and they can get upwards to 50 plus pounds. And they're in a high current environment with a lot of rocks, so they can run you around rocks, create near 100% drag scenarios, and that just tends to destroy almost any tackle that you can use with them. So spinnerbaits actually are quite effective for them. You work the spinnerbait bouncing off the bottom of the rocks, and that's just a good presentation for the golden dorado. They tend to hit them quite often when the water's high enough. But classically, even a really robust musky class spinnerbait will fail even just after 1 to 2 fish. Often the steel used will get dramatically bent based on the draw pressure of the dorado, and when the angler would bend it back, just the action of bending it back again just a couple times can snap the connection from the lead head right up and to the blades. So that's a problem. The second problem is they'll chew through the protection around the skirt material. It's typically thread with some basic epoxy on it. Those teeth just chew right through that, and you can reel in your spinnerbait with no skirt on it. It just falls off. So that's another problem that you need to address. And then, similar to the wire bending issue, often it's lead heads, and as you bend and bend and bend that wire back into place, it will open up the lead, which destabilizes it even more, because sometimes the way that those wires are fixed in the lead can come undone if the lead opens up itself. And lastly, trying to think about how you would integrate a leader given their teeth is something I want to think about. And then most importantly, dorados are fantastic jumpers. They will jump 10 to 20 times. Even the larger ones can jump quite a bit, and they will throw your lures quite often. So I wanted to kind of think about something that would remove that kind of fulcrum effect in the jumping exercise. So I wanted to see about producing a concept that would remove some of that ability from the dorado to throw the lure. And what I had come up with was this concept of releasing the lure body itself up a leader line. And so I'll just show you right there. If you just pull this, you'll see that I have a kind of a double hook scenario, and that the leader that's integrated in the lure, right, just allows the lure itself to work its way up the end of the leader. So when the dorado get to the surface and they jump and shake their head, right, this will slide down, and it's kind of hard to demonstrate, but you get almost no leverage anymore when the weight is much further away from their mouth than they would a traditional lure. So with all that being said, I tried to design this to address all of those issues. So from a strength perspective, the leader material that I've chosen to use is titanium. This is a 7-strand, 75-pound titanium. Now, believe it or not, I've had this break on dorado, so but I don't know of a source that makes titanium in any stronger variety at the multi-strand level that tends not to kink. And you need that for, the use of a lure that you need for repeated use. Otherwise, steel or otherwise just get too kinked up, and it wouldn't work in this kind of release mechanism. So I think I got to stick with that for the time being. This also is the thickest practical steel that you can use. It's quite difficult to actually bend, but some musky gear can get to this level, but this is the maximum. The other thing is, from a head perspective, again, the issue with lead and it opening up when you work that wire. I solve for by using pewter, right? So this is basically a tin. It melts very similarly to lead, but it's incredibly strong. You can't open it up with hand pressure or bending it of any way. So underneath this is tin or pewter and not lead. This is kind of crazy. Probably most of you won't know how I designed this, but this is brake line for cars, automobile stainless steel brake line. And there are devices that you can get to flare the end of the actual brake line, and you need to use bending tools because this is stainless steel, so it's very difficult to bend. And then inside, I use another stainless steel tube that allows this liter of material to kind of slide fairly seamlessly through. Now to the skirt. So again, they can chew apart almost anything. What I found in some previous tests is that this Flashabou or Flashabou type of material tends to be kind of like floss. It goes kind of through their teeth. They have a harder time biting through it, and you can kind of tell I've done this in a fairly thick basis. So this will hold up like at least for a day, right? And that's a long time in Dorado fishing for a lure to hold up. Then to deal with the skirt, now this one you're not going to see very much. I'll just have to describe it. There's a thick zip tie there, and that might not sound that impressive, but what underneath is what's interesting. So I secured the main skirt with stainless steel wire that I wrapped about 10 times or so, and then embedded back into itself. Then I wrapped it with stainless steel tape that's used in refrigeration units and otherwise. Then I put the zip tie on it. So I don't think they're going to get through this skirt protection easily or practically. So I think we're safe there. And then lastly, it's the choice of very strong hooks that you have to look into. These are a type of owner hook. And, you know, believe it or not, these would probably be some of the first things to go. From an IGFA perspective, it's a small notation to bring. You can have a double hook system, but the second hook can't start in front of the first hook unless it's actually looped onto it. So the fact that you can see it's slightly below it makes this legal if you are interested in catching a world record. So anyway, it's kind of a crazy spinnerbait. No one manufactures this. You know, there are a couple lure manufacturers that I like to work with. Kermit Adams from K Lures is someone that does a fantastic job on some of the wood lures. But this is kind of a custom deal. You know, not sure how practical this is for many other types of fishing. Obviously, for musky fishing, it could be quite interesting. Not sure if you want to use titanium for them. Maybe even a heavy mono might work. But anyway, it's kind of a super version of a spinnerbait for heavy duty fishing like for Dorado. Thought you guys might enjoy that. Thank you guys.